a short but very telling article today. You may have already seen the title. A man was shamed for not paying child support for somebody else's kid, and for, God forbid, avoiding paying for something that he didn't do. Get a load of this. Husband divides internet over unbelievable plan to avoid paying child support. Of course, this is written by a female journalist. Clearly, in my mind, a feminist. I could be wrong, but, you know, the rhetoric doesn't seem to lie very often. Just saying. Anyway, before I get into this, let's have a quick look at the bio of this particular author, because sometimes that can tell you a lot about what the person is really like. Here we go. Amy Sinclair, who's a contributor to 7 News, mainstream media. Of course. Amy Sinclair is a former editor who loves all things food, so she's fat. Cool. Couldn't resist that one. All things food, cooking and eating. I'm guessing it's more heavily weighted towards the second one. No pun intended. Oh, God. Now, if you guys have ever watched Replicant Fish's video, no wonder he can't resist laughing during his videos. You come across stuff like this, it's insane. So I'm going to read this sentence, right? Amy Sinclair is a former editor who loves all things food, cooking and eating, especially the eating. Did I not call this? This is why I love going down the rabbit hole live with you guys, because I stumble across gems like this. When she's not looking after her 3 children, you'll find her in the kitchen, more like the pantry, or busily hiding online shopping purchases from her husband. Oh, so she's an economic abuser under Family V rules. Okay, I see how it is. Anyway, let's jump back into the content of this article, given we've already stumbled across so much gold before we've even gotten past the headline. A man has divided social media. Oh, what has he done that's so controversial? Let's read further. A man has divided social media after revealing his unbelievable plan to avoid child support. Yeah, so unbelievable. Why would it be so unbelievable that a man is dodging child support? I mean, sounds like such a terrible thing to do, right? What a deadbeat dad. He doesn't want to take responsibility for his children, right? Let's see. The husband claims he was forced to take the drastic steps after learning his wife's dark secret. I wonder what dark secret that might be. What dark secret might we be talking about here? Sharing on Reddit, the man said he was happily married to his ex-wife for 12 years. Sounds like a good run. What could be so dark that would force them apart? However, their marriage crumbled when the husband, who's from the US, discovered their daughter wasn't in fact his. Look, if you are... I make no excuses for this dude. Guys, you have to understand. If you become more beta over time, if you become more submissive, if you are not the man that your wife became married to, she's going to end up having kids with someone else. She's going to have kids with someone else, even if she's still married to you. You cannot trick biology. You cannot trick biology, right? I'm not excusing this. Guys, I want you to understand this stuff. Do not become the man that she doesn't respect. If you are the man that she doesn't respect, then you'll be the man that raises someone else's baby. It's just as simple as that. You can't beat biology. It doesn't matter how many rules you put in place. It doesn't matter how much you say, oh, she's a cheating whore. Maybe by definition, that may be the case. But when it comes down to it, you just strip back the social rules, strip back all of the guidelines of society, strip back all of the conditioning, and what biology and neurology dictates will happen. every single freaking time. So, however, even if the guy has allowed himself to slip over 12 years, which is very easy to happen, which is why I don't recommend marriage long term. That's part of the big reason why I realize that it's very hard to sustain being exactly who you were when you get married for 12, 13 years without something happening. Right? It's just not worth it for a guy. The benefits outweigh the rewards, period. But look, let's continue on this, right? Because if you last 12 years with a woman and she has someone else's child and you find out about it, you can't be too mad at the dude for leaving, right? You can't be mad at him at all, right? Go. Look, if you chose poorly for the real father of your child, if you went out and slept with someone that you don't even know, that's probably a silly choice on your part. But if you slept with someone you do know, then maybe you should go to them to get them to help support the child. And I think that you should be selective, ladies, about who you have children with. Because if you're going to have a child with someone, even if you're married to someone else, you better hope that that guy doesn't find out that you're married to. And if he does find out, then you'd better hope that the guy who is actually the father of the kid is going to be able to be there. Because if one or both of those things happen, right? If the husband finds out and the real father of the child doesn't want to raise the child, well, then I guess you got a bit of a pickle on your hands, and you got to make that choice. If you're going to have a kid with someone else, got to make that choice. Shout out to Daniel Corica for the super chat. Says, good morning. I was there in DC on the 6th. All videos on my YouTube channel. You can use and share them if you want. Here is 5 for dingo food. Damn, man, that must have been crazy down in DC. I'm going to check that out. But let's continue. Despite the revelation, the marriage crumbled when the husband, who's from the US, discovered the daughter wasn't in fact his. Despite this revelation, a court ordered that he must still pay 700 Australian dollars a month in child support because he'd raised the child for many years. So because you paid for a child that wasn't yours for many years, then somehow that means that you must continue to pay? No, that's not how it works. Legally it is, but if you're smart, it's not. That's when he claims he came up with this controversial plan to appear broke so he wouldn't have to pay his ex-wife any money. As Replicant Fish says, pay attention, pay attention. I'm going to read that again. That's when he claims he came up with this controversial plan to appear broke so he wouldn't have to pay his ex-wife any money. Controversial plan. Maybe it's a ingenious plan. I don't know. It might be ingenious. It might be controversial. I don't know. But I want to hear what this plan is, because, you know, maybe if someone else wanted to be controversial, they could implement a similar plan in similar situations, especially if you're already married and you're going through a separation or the writing's on the wall. I was married to my ex for 12 years, he said. I thought we had a great relationship. However, that was proven to be a lie when I found out our child wasn't actually mine. The child was a little over 1 year old when I found out. Guys, and it's interesting, right? Because this journalist, this feminist journalist, says, where was it? He must still pay $700 a month because he had raised the child for many years. That's what the court said. But it says the child was under 1 year old when he found out. So that means that it hasn't even been 1 year, let alone many that he's raised the child for before he found out. But the court justifies their judgment on the basis that he's raised the child for many years. See how the courts lie? See how the family courts, the feminist-run family courts, lie all the time? Pay attention, men. The little girl was diagnosed with an inherited genetic disease that neither my wife nor I had. So after a genetic test, I was told I wasn't the father. This is the same thing that happened God, what's his name again? I can't believe it's escaped me. The founder of Money Supermarket. I did a video on this as well. He found out that he had cystic fibrosis when his oldest kid was late teens, and his two twins were, well, his two twins were in their early teens. He found out that none of his three kids were his because he had cystic fibrosis and was therefore infertile from birth. This is happening more than you can imagine, gentlemen. He says, I left her almost immediately and wished her the best with her life and hoped that her daughter would do well. It's not a terrible thing. It's not a terrible thing. During the beginning of the divorce, I was served with a summons for a child support case. My lawyer told me since I acted as the father for a fair amount of time, I shouldn't be shocked if I'm ordered to pay. And I'm sure he wasn't shocked that he was ordered to pay because feminist family court. Long story short, the real father wasn't found and I was ordered to pay. Oh, because she didn't know who the real dad was and she either couldn't find him or wouldn't give up the details. She was just, hey, no, don't worry about them, the people actually responsible for it paying. Don't worry about the one responsible for it paying. You pay. Because you looked after the kid for a couple of months. Wow. Long story short, the real father wasn't found and I was ordered to pay. She smiled pretty big after the hearing and I was upset, admittedly, so I told her I'd send her a check before garnishment kicked in. Of course she smiled pretty big. She got everything for nothing. I wanted to fight, well, at least she thought she had. I wanted to fight, but I wasn't worried, he said. I had a good backup plan. Ooh, backup plan. That sounds like a good plan for a man that just got screwed over. Shout out Riff Magos for the super chat. Says the house always wins both in politics and divorce court. Absolutely. That's exactly what happens. Smash that like button if you're enjoying this video, gentlemen, because this guy, this smart cookie, liquidated all of his assets pretty quickly, he explained. Took a loss on some things, but hey, I'm still young. Called my parents and they got my room ready and I moved back into my home country. I sent my ex a picture of me smiling back home and told her, best of luck. I've gotten a few calls and a letter regarding the support, but they got blocked or tossed in the trash. I don't think I'm in the wrong here. I didn't cheat and she's not my child. Some people argue about the bond, but I can't say I had a strong one considering I was ready to walk the second I heard about what was up. The man's story received conflicting responses on Reddit. Many slammed the man, saying the child would suffer. I feel sorry for the child, who is not only sick, but has now lost the only father she's ever known, said one. Of course they did. Oh, the poor child. Yeah, the poor child. The poor child. Having a mother that would have a baby with someone who wouldn't want to take responsibility for the kid. And guys, look, I'm going to be fair on both sides. If one of you were to be the father of a child to a woman who was in a relationship or a marriage with someone else, you've got to be prepared to take responsibility. However, the family court also needs to be ensured to ensure that you would be allowed to be a part of their life if you so chose. Right? So responsibility on both sides. I always preach this. You know this. All right? The fact that you're able to walk away so easily probably means she'll be better off without you. Both you and your ex are horrible people. How? How are they both horrible? But many others said the wife was the villain in this situation. Right? And the wife is just a slave to her biology, gentlemen. I'll always say this. She knew damn well the kid wasn't yours and still had the audacity to go to court for child support. Exactly. She should be going to the father of the child to ask for child support or to ask him to be an involved parent in the child's life if she wanted an involved parent. Good on you for leaving it all behind, someone else said. She made her bed with her actions and lies. She can lie in it. She can now lie in it. Another person said, you are in no way obligated to pay up for a kid that's not yours. I doubt anyone in your position would have still stuck around. That's right. Said another, don't let this person trap you for 17 years. In my opinion, you have no moral obligation to this child or the mother. Law be damned. And I agree with that. So this, at the end of the day, and someone said here, Justin Simmons, good to see you, Justin Simmons. He says the man this story is about is a very smart man, stupid in the sense he got married, but smartened up when he realized the truth came out. That's right. So guys, if you find out a kid's not yours, leave. If you find out that someone had your kid, even if there was someone else, you need to be involved. Take responsibility for your actions. But also make sure that you're treated fairly. And if you're not treated fairly, then fuck the courts. Right? Actions have consequences. Responsibilities have equal rights, equal responsibilities. That's where I'm at. Gentlemen, I hope you like this video. Please smash the thumbs up. Thank you to the... I don't know what just happened there. But gentlemen, thank you so much for coming in here. I appreciate all of you. Thank you to my moderators. Thank you to the two gentlemen who left a super chat. If you want to help support this channel and some of the expenses involved in things like StreamYard and other equipment, then feel free to drop me a donation at PayPal, paypal.me/SydneyMGTOW. Also, I'm going to do a separate video about this, but for those of you who are still here with me in the chat, I wanted to let you know an announcement that I'm going to be making very shortly. I am going to be... Now, I've said before, I'm a little disappointed with some people who are only doing YouTube for money in the manosphere, who dropped the name MGTOW like a hot potato once they realized that could affect their monetization rather than looking for other streams. I can't blame some of them, particularly those who have bills to pay. Some of them have got child support to pay. I get it. You know what I mean? And there's no love lost. A bit disappointing, but you know, no biggie. So I'm just going to turn the car on just to cool this phone off. But ultimately, gentlemen, with what's happening with Parler, with what's happening with Google and Apple and big tech, and the way that they are actually censoring everything now, I am looking at, there's two things I'm looking at doing, and I'm probably going to put a poll up on my community tab, so please go and check that out in the next 5 to 10 minutes. I'm looking at either starting a new channel with a name that doesn't have MGTOW in it, not because I expect or want monetization, but because I want to still be able to reach you gentlemen without being censored, right? Big tech has just been emboldened by the confirmation by the Electoral College of Joe Biden. I know he hasn't been inaugurated yet. There are still some cards to play. Let's find out. But I will be putting some of my stuff over on MGTOW TV. But I just feel... So there's some glitches with YouTube at the moment. I just feel like YouTube is not tenable. I'm still gonna be having Sydney as the start bit, but there's gonna be an acronym after. Sorry guys, I think the phone's heating up. Sorry about the background noise from the aircon. This is why I don't do a lot of videos on my car anymore. It's just becoming impractical. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing something like that. Look, check out my community tab in 5 to 10 minutes. I'll be putting a poll up. Let me know which one you'd prefer, and we will go from there. I would love to get your input. Thanks guys again. I appreciate your support. Appreciate the thumbs up, appreciate the comments and all of this stuff that's going on, and the way that you guys help this message get out there. Share this with other men that need to see the message, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.